you know, one of the best mobile games, period. The problem is we don't get this content enough, right? I don't know how difficult this content is to make, but if we could get a boss like this every 2 or 3 months, this game would be so hype. That's really my only complaint. The rewards need to be way better. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we finally get our first look and first impressions at the KNULL World Boss Legend on my main account. And so we're going to take him on here first with this team that I've constructed. I've constructed 5 teams that I'll show you guys at some point during the video, but I want to first show you what this team looks like. This is Doctor Strange leadership plus Sharon Rogers and Mystique. Now keep in mind, for this you have to use tier 3 and awakened characters only. You can use regular tier 2s for the striker list. As you can see, we've got Nick Fury and Co down or up there at the top. But keep in mind, one of the really hard things, one of the really challenging things moving forward for this World Boss Legend, on top of just the difficulty being straight up high, is that the strikers, something that I'm not used to at all, the strikers can only be used once. That's right. Once you use strikers, you can't use them again. Okay, we're having a bit of difficulties here. Doctor Strange is having a bit of a hard time. We're going to switch to Sharon Rogers. I didn't really want to switch to Sharon that early, but oh yeah, we're getting snared a lot. Yeah. Not the smoothest run, definitely not. Not even the smoothest rotation. Okay, there we go. We're into the next phase here. That was the first phase. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about the battle itself, because I want to just show you guys how it can be done first with a couple of teams, and then we'll sort of talk in between. But this phase is really good for Sharon because she accumulates on a couple of those swings, and she just guns it. So this is going to be oof, I missed. Please survive, Sharon. Oh, she did survive. Okay, Doctor Strange, your turn. So the really cool thing about this boss is it requires a lot of switching. You basically have to switch at some point. And oh, Doctor Strange just died. You have to switch, and switching definitely gives you an advantage. Definitely. Oh, I'm not playing too well right now. Okay, so here comes the dragon. Okay. For the dragon, you want to move side to side. Oh, it's not Doctor Strange who died. It's Sharon died. Oh, that might actually be worse. Hold up. That black stuff needs to disappear. Did he dodge my attack? Oh, he's summoning those things. Yeah, your typical Doctor Strange rotation is not going to necessarily work, if you know what I mean. You don't have enough time to necessarily do the whole rotation. Okay, now here comes Thor. The Lord of the Abyss claims you. This is such a cool fight. Here comes Thor, and he's like, yo, what's up, dog? Oh, he canceled my 5th skill. He's like, oh, you gotta kill him now, bro. Alright, I'll do my best. I'll try to kill him now. Scout's honor. Scout's honor. I'll try to kill Null now. If you don't kill Null here, you're dead. Like, you just lose. All 3 of your characters die. I should actually try to figure out how long you have. I think you have about 15 seconds. It's tough. It's really tough. As you can see, I've got a CTP of Rage on Doctor Strange. I've got a CTP of Rage on Mystique. And I've got a CTP of Energy on Sharon Rogers. And I almost lost. That's how difficult this boss fight is. And you're bringing multiple tier 3s and multiple awakened characters. But I want to show you guys now with a different team here. We're going to bring Cyclops, Moon Knight, and Mr. Fantastic. This is a really fun team here. Actually, you know what? I think I was going to try with Crescent. Yeah. Mr. Fantastic is actually a bit underrated. He's quite good for this fight. Now keep in mind, You can only bring awakened characters in tier 3s. Your strikers can be anyone. You can bring tier 2 strikers, but they can't be reused. And also keep in mind that you can't debuff him at all. Now, as you'll see with Professor X, it does seem to be a little bit he does seem to be a little bit affected by Professor X's attacks, but Professor X is probably the only exception here. But he doesn't seem to be, like, you see a little visual indicator of it, but that doesn't mean he's actually being affected. But Moon Knight's damage is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, he got nullified. Okay, it's a bit of a problem. No, it's not. Man, Moon Knight is so good. Moon Knight's really good for this. It's weird because you think with the all defense down, right, that Moon Knight wouldn't be good. He's great. Well, I got nulled there, but otherwise, he'd be great. He's great. So many debuffs. A debuff lead for the first part of the fight is actually not the worst thing in the world, not the worst idea. The only problem with it is that you need to do damage. We're gonna switch here. I actually want to see how much damage Crescent does. You know, she's actually not bad. There, we got stunned by Null. We're in tier 3. What happened? What happened? I don't know. Her tier 3 got canceled. I don't know, Crescent. Crescent's really bad. Crescent needs a massive makeover. Alright, we're into the next phase. Here in this phase, I should have built up his tier 3. Mr. Fantastic is really nice in this phase because of the accumulation that he gets on his third skill. So it takes a while for him to build it up, obviously. But you can see there, he's already doing some nice damage. Okay, and we're gonna just dodge this. Okay, right after this, you kind of have to run in a circle for this to dodge this part of the fight. Here we go. All right, hit me, and look at this. He gives it right back. Look at that. And I missed. Let me go grab those healing orbs. Remember when we had to heal in World Boss? Good times. It's back. Oops. Oh, I thought Moon Knight died for a second. You know, Crescent would be good in this phase too because of her accumulation, except that her accumulation only lasts 4 seconds. Okay, we got this little hit thing here that you'll basically die if you miss that opportunity to dodge. Nice. Look at Moon Knight's damage, bro. Look at Moon Knight. So inspirational. How far Moon Knight came as a character. Taking on Null. Whereas he was absolutely useless before. Crazy. I think we got this one again here. This one you want to run in a circle. As much as you can, running in a circle. It sort of helps to have Null in the middle of the arena. But yeah, look at Mr. Fantastic, right? I was trying to skip the dragon. Oh, we skipped the dragon. No, we didn't skip the dragon phase. I was trying to skip the dragon phase. Dang it. Dang it. I was trying to skip the dragon phase. Mr. Fantastic, right? He's pretty good. You're like, wow. For those of you that tier 3, I'm not saying that you should tier 3 Mr. Fantastic. I'm not saying that at all. But for those of you that did tier 3 Mr. Fantastic, don't feel so bad. So it's at the bottom of 7 bars. I see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, for those of you that tier 3 Mr. Fantastic, he has a use now, which is pretty dope. So here we go. Lord of the Abyss claims you. Nope. Here comes Thor. Bum ba da bum. Heroes. Now is the time to attack. Yeah. But the thing that it says now is the time to attack, but then you get hit, which is really weird. Like you take damage. We might run out of time here. Oh, I think he was coming out. We almost ran out of time. I think 20 seconds or 18 seconds and you're done. I mean, well, it depends on when it starts. But there you go. There's 2 clears. But let's try one more, and this time we'll sort of talk through it. We need to bring a team that is good enough to do a lot of bars of damage. We'll try this team. This is the Mutant Savior team, aka the Quiet Council. As you can see, though, these teams have to be stacked, because if one character dies and you're just doing your regular one team setup, I mean, first of all, you don't have any supports, right? Because you can only bring tier 3 and awakened characters, there's very few supports. You've got Cyclops, you've got Mystique, I mean, you've got Shadow Shell for the Warriors of the Sky specifically, you've got Storm with her elemental damage, and you've got Medusa. There's a few characters with support passives, but it's a very short list, extremely short list, and it's also an extremely short list in the sense that it doesn't have very many applicable buffs. Like, sure, Storm is a passive 35% elemental damage, but only for elemental characters, so she's not a support buff for this team or this team. Parts of this team, actually. But yeah, you sort of get what I'm saying. On top of that, if you bring like a traditional team, let's say we go to here to stage 99, right? Like, a team like this just wouldn't work, even if Valkyrie and Ghost Panther had you know, awakened skills or tier 3 skills. I mean, it might work depending on how good their reworks were, but if they just had regular run-of-the-mill awakening skills like Elsa or whatever, and they didn't have actual character reworks, as soon as Scarlet Witch dies, the run is over, because you lose all your damage, right? So, and with Null, he's just got so much defense, and he's just so tanky, and he's got so much health. He's got almost 25 million HP on the very first stage. Yeah, so we're gonna jump in here. I've actually purposely set the strikers to all be completely different. As you can see here, the strikers are all completely different. Now wait, this is my 3rd team, because this actually kind of doesn't make sense. That's my Lightning team for Beta Ray Bill, but this one has Morbius, who's physical. That doesn't make any sense at all, because I don't deal physical damage with Professor X and Apocalypse. So we're gonna throw in, yes, okay, there we go. But yeah, so it's really tough. So in this last run here, I'm gonna try and talk you guys through the Null fight. The easiest phase and the most straightforward phase is the first phase. He's got about 4 phases that you go through. There's basically only one skippable phase. The only skippable phase is the dragon phase. You can skip the dragon phase that he gets to at about 12 bars. Between 20 and 12 bars, he goes into the dragon phase. If you push him from, you know, 13 bars down to 7 bars quickly, or down to 6 bars very, very quickly, if you do like a massive burst of damage at the end there, you can push him into that Thor imprisonment stage at the very, very end, which you've seen me do twice already, and that's the must-kill phase. If you don't kill in that phase, you just lose. All your characters get wiped. It's done. There's no way to... not that I figured out. There's no way to cheese it or anything like that. Okay, so here we go. The first phase is pretty straightforward. It's 60 bars down to 30 bars. And essentially, Null just sits there in his throne, and he does a bunch of directional attacks at you. And on top of that, he will periodically knock you back away from his throne. And then you'll have to sort of run forwards again, because the rest of the arena will be purple. And you will take damage. A lot of damage if you don't dodge it in time. You also get hit and you get nullified, where you get like this symbiote erosion stacked on you. If you get 5 stacks, as you can see, the rest of the arena is purple, right? Anyways, if you get 5 stacks of the erosion, then you die. Your character dies, and yeah, so you don't want that to happen. Erosion, bad. Character alive, good. Yeah, getting slapped with those tentacles is what stacks the erosion. So here we go. We're sort of flying through the first phase here. This is a really good team. All 3 very high damage dealers. You can also get sort of imprisoned for 6 seconds. But yeah, you sort of just shrug that stuff off and keep doing damage. See, you can, I mean, if you get really good at it, you can start dodging those tentacles as you see them. So see, knocks you back. So you have to then rush forward. So you need to bring someone who has enough movement speed, right? Or you have to switch to someone with movement speed if you're using a character that's very, very slow. You need to keep that in mind. Movement speed is actually a tiny bit important for this boss fight. Not super important, but it's not useless either. It's definitely not useless. Another tip that I have for you guys in general is don't save your tier 3s. I know we're used to sort of like lining up and sort of getting the pattern right for our tier 3 skills and stuff like that. Don't do that against this boss. You're going to need to play as aggressively as possible, because otherwise you're probably going to end up dying. So my advice is just go for it. See, I can't mind control him or anything like that. Oh, he's doing this one here. Yeah, this Magneto took a whole bunch of damage. Okay, that was not good. Professor X is actually really good. So you can see here that Professor X actually does apply something on his head, but I don't think that is I don't think that's actually doing anything to his defense or anything like that. It might be. It might be. It probably isn't, though. Okay, nice. We were already standing in the circle there. The really good thing about Professor X is you can move around. So with his fist skill, you can move around. The movement's actually really valuable. Another good thing is that Apocalypse has very, very high base movement speed. You probably use him in Danger Room Extreme and you've experienced his insane movement speed. So there we weren't able to skip the Dragon Phase. The Dragon Phase is actually really hard to skip. There in the Dragon Phase, you want to basically go to one end of the arena, like one corner, and then you want to wait a little bit after he targets you, because at first when he targets you, he doesn't start moving. So you wait, and then you just basically do a semicircle to the next corner of the arena. Oh, wow. How did I not die? Oh. Nice. Okay. No need to rush here. Here I am going to save my tier 3. That's the only time where I did save my tier 3, because I had less than a bar of damage to do, and I know that the Thor phase is coming. At the bottom of 7 bars, the Thor phase begins. So, yeah. You do have to wait a little bit here. But, see, I don't know why you take damage there. It's kind of confusing. I don't know. I think you have to attack after Thor hits. No tier 3 or no rage proc. Need to kill him now. I get so nervous and anxious. So there you go. That's the fight. Again, third time's the charm. So from 60 to 30 bars, it's just, you know, it's pretty standard difficulty. It's sort of like a damage check, the first 30 bars. I mean, there are some things to dodge and there is some movement, but it's fairly straightforward, I believe. In my opinion, the first 30 bars from 60 down to 30. If you're having a hard time getting down to 30 bars, that's more of an indication that your builds or your cards or whatever is not tuned up for the difficulty, or maybe you're not using enough of a damage leadership. Maybe you need to bring Mystique as a support or something like that. Keep in mind, my cards are very good, but I'm not using any of the new stats. I'm not using any concentration or pierce or any of that garbage. I'm not using any of that. So I think the first 30 bars are more of a damage check. After that, he comes down from his throne. It gets a little bit more difficult. You must pay attention to his attacks. What I generally do as sort of like a rule of thumb is I usually, when he comes down from the throne, I usually let off, you know, a couple of rotations, a tier 3 rotation and a regular rotation. Maybe I switch characters and I try to squeeze in one more, but then I instinctively back off after about 20 seconds or 15 seconds of attacking him, because I'm guessing he's going to do something that I want to dodge, like that one where he sends out all the little symbiote spikes with the circle underneath, and they sort of follow you in a line, and then they bounce back once, and you have to sort of go in a spiral to dodge them successfully. And then the dragon phase is actually very straightforward, although it seems very daunting. You want to just start in one corner next to him, and then when he targets you, you move to the next corner, and as he moves, the dragon moves really slowly, so he misses you twice, and then he'll dive down from the dragon at you, so then you just move away, sort of like Thanos jumping down to slam on you. He also has a Thanos slam, which is like a star shape, but it's like symbiote tentacles. And then the 7-bar thing with Thor, you just give it. At that point, you just give it, and you just give it all you got. Save your co-op skill for the last 7 bars, and just gun it and play as aggressively as possible, and you'll win. Now, here's the thing. Here's the last thing. My final thoughts here. My final first impression thoughts, anyways, on Null World Boss is Very, very fun, extremely fun boss in terms of the actual fight. The music is amazing, the throne, the stage is amazing, the environment. Whoever worked on the actual fight itself, they deserve all the praise and all of the promotions and all of the, you know, bonus pay. They just did a fantastic 10 out of 10 job. This kind of content is what makes Marvel Future Fight special. This kind of content is what makes this game, you know, one of the best mobile games, period. The problem is we don't get this content enough, right? I don't know how difficult this content is to make, but if we could get a boss like this every 2 or 3 months, this game would be so hype. And this game would have way more players. The only other problem, or the only problem with this new Null World Boss Legend is the the reward to difficulty ratio. The difficulty does not reflect in the rewards. The rewards are barely better than me just going and one-shotting stage 99 Ebony. I can do this so much more easily, right? Instead of stressing myself out for 5 minutes, I can just go in and clap his... Literally, I can just go in here, right? Just to give you guys... I can just go in here in 5 seconds. And the rewards are almost identical. That should not be the case, right? Again, we have a case of Marvel Future Fight devs not understanding that difficulty has to be reflected in rewards. The lower the difficulty of something, the fewer rewards you should get. The higher the difficulty, the more rewards you should get, right? But why am I getting the same rewards? Wow, I'm not going to one-shot? Wow. That was weird. Why am I going to get the same rewards for basically killing a boss in one rotation as I am for practicing and learning and spending 5 full minutes killing a boss with a more expensive team, right? Instead of Beta Ray Bill, I've got a tier 3 Thor and tier 3 Storm. Way more expensive team here. You're talking about almost 3,000 CCF across the 3 of them. Or not 3,000, actually. He's awake and he's not. But yeah, you know what? You gotta do Star-Lord as well. So, yeah, like 2,000 CCF, 2,500 CCF, right? Across these 3 characters. You've got 2 CTPs of energy and a CTP of rage. And it barely gives rewards that are on par with stage 99. So yeah, that's really my only complaint. The rewards need to be way better. Like way better. Like whatever the rewards are, they need to multiply it by 10. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Null boss. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.